on Turkish domestic politics and foreign policy and a senior fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins us from DC. So this precision strike in another country, your reaction to Israel targeting Hamas leaders in Qatar, your thoughts?
Right. I think there must be a lot of question marks and worry going through the leadership of Turkey right now, given what has taken place in Qatar over the last several hours, simply because outside of Qatar, Turkey is the second largest home to Hamas leadership. We do know that Hamas has two major offices on a permanent basis inside of Turkey, one for its West Bank operation, but also another one for its financing operations. And they've been there since 2011. And Turkey's been warned multiple times by its allies, as well as by Israel, suggesting that they're not happy with this. And we also recently saw last week that Israel's security service, Shin Bet, disclosed that an assassination attempt was carried out by a Hamas cell originating out of Turkey that attempted to take the life of National Security Minister Ben-Gvir. And so I'm sure Turkish leaders are worried that essentially, what if this was to happen to us? Simply because, from an Israeli perspective, the gloves are off. And Turks are essentially basically sort of trying to calculate what would our response be if something was similar to take place in Ankara or Istanbul.
Many asking exactly that. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, of course, watching all these developments in Doha closely, but any potential escalation between Israel and Turkey would be an entirely new chapter in the conflicts underway right now in the Middle East. Briefly, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that there's a qualitative difference here. Look, Qatar is a very small state with limited capabilities in light of what Israel's just carried out. Turkey's essentially a massive country. It's also roughly the size of the U.S. state of Texas. It is a NATO military power, the second largest military in NATO. The Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Erdogan do not want to go to war with each other. They're not interested in conflict for obvious reasons, because it would have catastrophic consequences, not just for both countries, but it would have regional consequences and draw in multiple other regional actors as well as global powers to try and sort of stop the conflict. But I would say that essentially the rhetoric, the escalatory sort of language and the provocative behavior coming out of Turkey since, I would say, especially since October 7 has taken place, has not abated. We have seen from assassination attempts to materially supporting Hamas on a day-by-day, if not month-by-month basis, is continuously grown. And we know this simply because Erdogan himself has never outwardly condemned the Hamas attacks. Even when they occurred, his foreign ministry did, but he's never done so. In fact, he's consistently coordinated with powers such as Iran, Qatar, other regional actors to see if he can undermine Israeli security. And so this has been his choice not to sort of terminate relations with Hamas. And this has not gotten him anywhere, unfortunately.
Certainly will be fascinating to see if there is any more rhetoric coming out of Ankara in the coming days. Dr. Sinan Ciddi, live from DC. Always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.